Hello aspirants, welcome to another video of Edufy Institute. My name is Mukul Rajkumar and as you can see in my back, we are going to start the Tectonic video. As I promised in my earlier video that we are going to start the series of education on geography subject. This video is going to helpful for NPSC and UPSC aspirants both. They can take the reference of this video. Without any further delay, let's start the video. As you can see in my background, our today's topic is plate tectonics. So let's discuss something about what are plate tectonics or what is plate. Before understanding tectonics, we need to understand what is plate. The plate on our lithosphere, on the crust, is the broken pieces of hard surface of crust. As I mentioned in before in class that crust has two types of layer. Crust has two types of layer. There, the first layer of or the upper layer is known as lithosphere, which is absolutely hard, and the lower layer which is absolutely soft, but we can also call it a semi-molten layer and also known as asthenosphere. Now, what happens whenever the pressure inside the earth in inner part of the earth increases, this pressure of heat and magma breaks down the internal crust or layers of the earth and finally reach out to the lithosphere. Since the asthenosphere is a semi-molten layer, so the cracks do not form in semi-molten layer, that is asthenosphere, but when it reach the pressure reach to the lithosphere, this lithosphere which is completely hard divides or separate into two types or break into two pieces. These broken pieces of lithosphere are known as plates. See, the size of plate can be vary from one plate to another plate. This pressure which is coming from inside the earth is simultaneously working from the multiple areas of the planet. This planet simultaneous action of this pressure causes the formation of plates. Therefore, the earth's crust of lithosphere broken plates form in many types and sizes. In the fact, if we talk on fact, the earth planet has total 8 number of major plates and several number of minor plates. These plates are technically after broken or after breaking into pieces, they are technically floating over the asthenosphere layer, and it seems like a iron shaped boat or let's say ship is floating over ocean. All right, so that's how the plates are floating over the asthenosphere. Now whenever since we know that our earth is rotating around 1600 kilometers per hour speed, so there is an action fundamental physical force applied on these plates, including multiple gravity pulls of our solar system planets. Now, since these plates are movable, since they are floating over the asthenosphere, so while moving from one place to another, sometimes one plate get away from another plate and sometimes one plate get close to other plate. Due to these movements, we call it plate tectonics. There are several things occur due to these movements of plates and causes multiple surface change over the planet's surface, and we know them by the different types of names. Technically, geographers has divided the plate movement into three types of movements. They are convergent, divergent and transform. Let's understand them a little bit deeper. As you can see, divergent, convergent, transform, plate tectonics, they create some kind of surfacial structures over the crust. So we are going to start with the different movements and what type of surface structure are formed because of these plate movements. So when we talk about the type of boundaries, when these boundaries are especially nothing but the plate margins, one plate and another plate, these two plates border is called boundaries of two plates. These boundaries are divergent, convergent and transform. Okay, now what these boundaries create the surfacial structure of the earth, let's try to understand that. Divergent boundaries especially divide one plate into two, and two plates get separate and move away from each other. Then obviously in the middle there is a gap open. Let's say this is a plate, this is one plate, one hand, one plate. The pressure strikes from inside and break it. Okay, break it, so the two pieces go start moving away from each other. Now in the middle there is a gap, which the gap is filled by the lava coming from inside. Generally these boundaries are found inside the ocean, that is at the floor of ocean. So whenever this lava comes out in the gap, because of water presence, these lava or magma immediately convert into rocks, that is igneous types of rocks. Gradually, if this process continues, this process can take millions of years also, thousands of years also, or hundreds of years also. Whenever these processes are very much continuous, gradually that lava will come in contact with ocean water, regularly get hardened and forming igneous rocks multiple times. The layer by layer, the igneous rock sheet will form. Now, if the process of forcing or the pressure from inside is not stopping, that means whenever it will come out from the ocean mouth, it will take the shape of a island archipelago. What is archipelago? I have used one word here, archipelago. Archipelago is a geographical word used by the geographers, meaning that the group of islands, chain of islands are generally archipelago. If you want an example, for example, Indonesia is an archipelago country. It has multiple blocks of islands and make together a one country. And after that, another example, if you talk on India basis, then we have Andaman Nicobar. Andaman Nicobar has more than 500 islands, minor, major islands. Okay, Port Blair. So Port Blair is the capital. Now this particular islands are archipelago. So I hope you understood what is the meaning of archipelago. Remember, UPSC have already asked in his previous questions the word archipelago. Okay. Now let's continue with the concept. Now divergent, what divergent does, I said it already, it diverts, it moves the plates away from each other. In the middle the volcanic eruption can happen. So through divergent plate tectonic, what you know, come to know that one island formation can happen if it is happening inside the ocean, over the ocean. Now the next question is, what if the divergent boundary is over the surface, that is land? If the land has the divergent boundary and lava is coming out, so it will not cool immediately as it was connecting with water. It will connect with the atmosphere. Now due to the atmosphere cooling, the cooling process is generally slow than as compared to the water, but still they start cool down and forms big rift valleys over the surface. Whenever the land starts cracking because of pressure, okay, whenever the pressure is coming, land starts cracking, bending, so big deep cracks forms over the land surface, that is called rift valleys. So divergent boundaries create rift valleys also over the surface. You can take the example and reference where the Great Rift Valley of Africa. This Great Rift Valley of Africa is a great cracks over the continent, which is in the Horn of Africa side. The country names are Ethiopia, like Somalia, Kenya, these kind of nations, Tanzania, these kind of nations. Here in the boundary you can easily refer. Now let's talk about the convergent boundary. The convergent boundaries are opposite to the divergent boundary. In divergent we saw plate move away from each other. In convergent boundary we see two plates converge towards each other. Now whenever we say converging, that means there will be collision of these two plates. Whenever these two plates will collide, either of the plate will subduct. Subduct in the sense will go down. It will go inside the earth. Okay. Now the question marks in the aspirant's mind always there, that which plate will go down. Whenever convergent plate boundary taking place or collision takes place, which plate will go down? The answer is the thickest and densest plate will always go down. The lightest plate will always be upper part of the subduction plate. Now the plate which go inside the earth, technically we call that as a subductive plate, and the upper plate is upper plate. Okay, whenever this convergence happens, earthquake might take place. Compression occurs in both plates. So because of compressions, sometimes explosion inside due to increment in pressure and temperature, explosion inside the continents happen, and that also causes earthquake. Generally this is the basic reason. Whenever this convergent boundary happens, in those margins, in those boundaries, you will notice highly concentration of earthquake incidents plus volcanic eruption. Another part, what type of physical changes these convergent boundary or plate tectonic occurs brings to the surface. So generally, mountain building process in the world is associated with convergent plate boundary. Any kind of long range mountains in the world are the convergent plate boundaries result. For example, I will give you the reference. You just watch this video and refer to your atlas. So in that page you will see we have American plate, both American plate, and in other side we have Pacific plate. Pacific plate and both American plates are convergent plates. They both collided. Now due to the collision and the margin of where the subduction is happening, under the water it is trench, but over the surface the land got folded because of the pressure given by the other plate. Now that land, when it got folded, so we found long mountain ranges in the western side of American continent, both American continent. Like North America you have Rocky Mountain range, and in South America you have Andes mountain range. Remember one fact about the Andes mountains: Andes mountains are the longest mountain range in the world. Let's take the example of India. In India, when we collided with the Eurasian plate, India is also a convergent plate with the Eurasian plate. So when we collided with the Eurasian plate, the result where we found is the Himalayan range. Himalayan range started formation because of that compression force given by Indian plate and Eurasian plate. Okay, so this is a very long range. Like this, there are multiple numerous example of mountain buildings in entire world. Okay, let's not go to the every mountains, but these are the basic example. So this video, take it as a reference to understand the concept. Last plate tectonic is transform. In this type of plate movement, we do not see convergence or divergence, moving close to each other and moving away to each other. It's not seen in this type of plate tectonic. What we see in this plate, the plates move through the margin in anti-parallel direction. Maybe one plate is stagnant, other plate is moving, crossing the way. All right, but they are not colliding, they are not getting away from each other, they are just rubbing the edges of each other. Now due to the rubbing of these edges, sometimes what happens, the big deep cracks forms over the land surface, and huge chunk of accumulation of land rocks can be found. The entire shape of that particular surface transform. Because of this transformation, we call the result, we call this plate as a transform plate tectonic. Okay, these acts generally cause block mountains formations. These are not ranges like Himalayans, but they are small chunk or blocks of the higher grounds, okay, that can be developed due to the transform plate tectonic. And remember, last but not least, that is, you can call divergent as a constructive plate tectonic also, because it construct new lands. As I said, new land like volcanic island has formed. That is a new land formation which was not existing before. That is called constructive. It's a civil engineer of nature. Okay. Now second is constructive. We can call it destructive plate tectonic also, because it destroys the plate. Finally, when the plate which is going subducting, it melts off completely inside the earth and again convert into magma, and that's how magma recycles. Okay, that's how the plate tectonic work. In a very deeper section, if we see plate tectonic topic, it has so much to talk about, but since our video will be too much longer, you can refer to our classes also. But these are the basic ideas of convergent, divergent and transform. Here you can refer to the PDF also. I will connect this PDF or PPT with the description area. You can take it from there also. That's how our plate tectonic basically works. I hope our aspirants have got some idea, some key terms which I use in this video. So follow this type of video and always watch out the YouTube or any social media platform or by Edufy Institute. You will find it very interesting to know the concept of geography. I'm very thankful to you to watch this video. Good luck, everybody.